very warm welcome. This is really pertinent times from a cybersecurity perspective. COVID-19 has resulted in increased digitization across sectors. No matter how many people we meet, we always say that COVID is the single most catalyst enabler for increasing the digitization across sectors, with the enterprise security leaders suddenly finding themselves with multiple tasks securing a new hybrid workplace. Will we ever go back to those new normals again? I don't think so. I think this will become the new normal, right? The largest ever attack surface has been increasing. No industry is being spared if you read the newspapers. In the next 10, 15 minutes, I'll like to talk about the trends that are talking about data proliferation, organizations struggling to handle the sheer volume of data that is being generated, and add on top of it the entire digital or the digitization piece, and you actually are seeing multiple new data lakes emerging. How do you secure those data lakes? What are the threats to the technologies that have come in, like the wearable devices which have come in during pandemic, on which you can actually monitor things like your oximeter, etc. And cyber criminals at the same time are getting more and more advanced. They are using different elements to gather attention, compromising million of records, not only causing revenue losses, right? Revenue losses is something which you can probably still live with. But what about brand reputation? What about operational inefficiency? What about cost of rebuilding the entire network, right? And then, I think this entire decade, 2020s, would be the decade of digital trust, as not only the CISOs, but CISOs, CIOs, CTOs would expect cybersecurity to have a tremendous impact on the national critical infrastructure, right? And we've seen that organizations like NCI IPC have already come up with guidelines around protecting the national critical infrastructure. So ideally, organizations, CISOs should keep in mind the changing landscape, the lessons from the pandemic, right? We should not forget about what happened in the last 2 years. Talking to a very, very close CEO, I told him that, sir, you have got about 1 main office, 4 regional offices, and about 10 branch offices in India. He said, Jaspreet, sorry, that is totally wrong. We've got about 15,000 offices in India, which means that every single employee working from home is an office. Now, who looks at home Wi-Fi security? Do you share Wi-Fi's, right? Then look at what are the key priorities that the CISOs in 2021, 22 are trying to make. Be it IDAM, be it cloud. About 5 years ago, you walk into board meetings and there would be a discussion on, should we go to the cloud? Should we not go to the cloud? What should we do? Is there a cost benefit analysis associated with moving to cloud? Or is there any data security, data privacy issue from a cloud perspective? And it has completely changed the time. Now you go to a board meeting and they talk about, hey, what will it take for me to move to the cloud? To data protection and to regulations. We've seen what the proposed data protection bill in India is doing, and which is similar to GDPR. And almost every organization across the globe every country across the globe is trying to come up with its own form of data protection. How do you deal with so many regulations perspective? Add to that the sector-based regulations like RBI coming up with their own regulations, or DOT from a telecom perspective coming in with their own regulations. I think the most important piece that organizations today would need to also look at is the great resignation that we are seeing. If there is so much shortage in the market, imagine what cybersecurity professionals would be going through, right? And organizations would need to look at all of this to actually achieve future-proof enterprise security. I would like to help people listening from various part of the calls by probably dividing this into 3 pieces. Let's look at now, next, and tomorrow. Now is something which I will do today, which is very, very pertinent from a 3-month perspective. Next is something which I would do from a 6-month to a 9th month perspective. And tomorrow is something which is like 18 months away, whether it is implementation or understanding about IDAM access management. Look at cloud. We spoke about data privacy, right? Do you know how many data privacy laws are there currently across the globe? We're talking about 72 laws. Imagine a company which is working in multiple geographies. What is the cost of compliance from a data privacy perspective? Add to it the entire piece around health, the entire health data that every organization today is in. I saw a very beautiful video, right, which said how would life in 2030 look like. Life in 2030, and the video is available on YouTube, was very interesting. It says that for to me to reach to office at 9 o'clock in the morning, I get up at 7 o'clock. I set an alarm for 7 o'clock. I set a timer on my car to reheat itself at about 8:30, and my gas station gets a notification that I'll be there by about 8:45. And so hence I set up my alarm accordingly. Then I get an email middle of the night saying the meeting's been moved by 1 hour. Automatically, all of these interconnected devices actually move the time accordingly. Now, what does it do? It enables any single bad vector or a hacker who's got access to this information to destroy my entire schedule. That's the power of IoT that we are talking about. Connected devices, connected vehicles, right? Imagine if any of such devices actually have a loophole. What will happen to the entire security of the entire city would come to a standstill. Another example, which was I was very terrified when I saw the video, again available on a very popular channel, is somebody could hack into air conditioning system used by an old couple in Germany. The temperature of that air conditioning system, whenever they were looking at the air conditioning's vault, was being changed by 2 degrees. Because of that, the male person suffered a heart attack. Imagine now with IoT connected air conditioning devices where everything you can control by an app, from your TV remotes to your air conditioning remotes. What is the cost benefit analysis that we're doing from a digitization perspective to a cybersecurity perspective? As per one of the leading reports by Gartner, it actually takes more than 180 days to detect a cyber attack. Then how do we think that organizations today would have the sheer struggle to actually defend a cyber attack? So I think it's not a one-day journey, it's not a 1 month journey, it's a journey in itself. You need to draw a clear-cut roadmap from a now, next to tomorrow perspective. But in the end, also make sure that cybersecurity has got a seat at the table, at the main board table, and they are part of each and every board initiative. Thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.